Okay, so I'm going to show you how to pick something up off the table, pass it to your other hand, and put it back on the table in a different location. It's a simple mechanic that is more difficult than it looks, but also pretty basic once you can grasp it. So to start, what I like to do is put a locator in the position you want to pick it up at and the position where you want to have it put down. And for the purposes of this, I'm having both arms in IK, but it doesn't matter what either of them are in. They can be in IK or FK as long as there's a wrist control or, something to use the hand. So to start, you want to constrain your object to the spot it's currently at. This is so that later on it doesn't teleport across the room from where you picked it up, because that will happen and it is very annoying and it's disgusting. So you select the locator and the thing you want to constrain, which I have an object that he's actually picking up, a controller for the object so I can move it in his hand, and then the big controller which I'm using to actually use the constraints. So select the thing on the table, in this case a locator, and the object, and then go under animation, constrain, parent. Now it is stuck to the table or wherever you move this locator. So you can put that wherever you want. Now, let's key the hand on frame 1, go ahead like 10 frames because I feel like it, and move the hand to pick it up. So now that the hand is in position on the correct frame, you select the wrist, and then the same thing you use to constrain, and then do constrain parent. Now, when I try to move the hand, you'll notice it is stuck in between the two objects you have constrained. To fix that and to animate that, we go into the object we have constrained, and on the right side in your channel box, under shapes, will be these two things at the bottom. They are both set to 1. One of them is the table, and one of them is the hand, and whichever one you have on, the object will stay to. So if one of them is 0 and the other one is 1, then it will stay with one of them. Now we have to animate that. So we just select these two, key selected. Now what happened? Oh, that's not what I want. So go back a frame and swap them. Now anything before will be on the table, and then one frame after where I want it, it'll switch. It has to be a 1-frame switch, otherwise the thing will fly around like a stupid thing. It's gross. So we did that. Now let's go ahead a few frames and move this to the other hand. Always double check to make sure things are working. So that's looking pretty good. Now that it's at the other hand, position it into the right spot where you want the switch to happen. Now we take the other hand and then constrain it to the same spot. A parent constraint as well. And then obviously it's going to be in between both of them again. Now he's a wizard. So that means we go back into here and we have to key these again. So key selected. And one rule of thumb is it should only be touching one thing at a time. So if two things are set to 1, it's going to be floating in between stuff. And that's annoying because that's not what we're going for. So figure out which one is the one you want it, like, in the spot. So I'm just gonna guess because I'm too lazy to look. and that's the right hand, but I didn't key the frame before it. So now it's going to do some gross, nasty stuff. So we go back one frame, go back into here, change this to 1, and this one to 0. So now it's the same as what we started with, but now it switches into the other hand on frame 20. So now we key the other hand, or whatever animation is already supposed to be on it, go ahead a few other frames, move it down to the table. So that's the basic idea. But now we want to put it back on the table, so I'll do it one more time as an example. So we get it to the spot where we want it placed. Perfect, it's beautiful, I don't care, it's not on the table. They'll judge me. Now we take the other table placement spot and the object, and we do the same thing again. So we constrain parent. Now there will be 4 of them in here, which again can be hard to figure out which one is which and whatnot. That's why you have to be careful with the naming of things so you actually know what you're doing. So now we key it all again, go back a frame, key it all again, and we make sure table position, this is table position 2. So that means, go ahead another frame. When we want it on the table, table position 2 needs to be on. Well, that means this one has to be off then. So anything after this table position, like that, will be off. But now we've gone and broken some other part. So we go back into here, select these again, go, oh, hey, we've got 2 1s. That's a problem. So we go here. This is just before he puts it on the table, meaning it should be in his hand. So, well, table position 2 should not be active then, because the table shouldn't be holding it. So we change that to a 0. Now we're done, because he puts it on the table, can pick it back up, put it in the other hand, put it back down. We can do this as much as we want with clever keying of our parent constraints, which can all be found in the one spot we put them all. So that's how we pick something up, swap hands, and put it back down. Hope that helps.